Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Next in Line. Here with me today, I'm super excited. This is a little different location. We've been invited to Nabors Corporation to actually have a podcast live here with Aparna Mathur. I do it right? Did I say it right?
Very good. No accent.
No accent. Look at that. Getting better at this. Thank you for your time, and thanks for this invitation here. This is kind of a first for us being on a client site, which I'm stoked about. I've been talking about it for weeks.
Yeah.
So thank you for this.
We have a really nice studio here.
I know. I'm thinking about maybe renting it from you guys.
That would be
when
awesome.
I come to Houston. We could work something out. So do me a favor, because no one probably do it better than you. Can you just give me a quick snapshot of how'd you get in IT to when you got tapped on the shoulder to become the vice president of IT for Nabors Corporation?
So you want a quick snapshot?
Yeah.
Not a long-winded answer.
Yeah. We'll double click in there.
I
said, I warn people now, sometimes you may say something, I'll start going down there a little bit, but they give me cues on when to stop.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. My path to where I am has been a very long and convoluted path. It is not a straightforward. So that's why I guess how much detail we want to get in.
Okay.
It has gone through different continents, different countries, different industries, different majors. So I studied my undergrad was in pharmacy, which is completely different.
Okay.
And then from there, it went to some work experience, some MIS degree, and then consulting experience with Deloitte, and then here. So it's a long path. It was not a straightforward.
So I have to ask you that. So were you kind of growing up wanting to be a doctor or a pharmacist at first?
I don't know that exactly what I wanted to be. I think pharmacy was also, it came as a chance and I took it. I won't say that I felt that this is it and I wanted to do that.
Okay.
My only thing from there was, okay, I'm here and I'll do my best in that and then I'll figure it out, sort of. That's the approach I took. So that's why it took me a long time to figure out exactly what I wanted to do and how I want to get there and finally to get to what I like, which is, it took some time.
You found your path, and this is where we're at today.
I found my path, and that's what I feel, and a lot of kids these days, they are oh, I don't know what I want, and how do I get to this and all that. And I'm just do the right things at the right time. I do believe that you need to give your best in whatever you are doing.
100%.
So then, and that's when the opportunities open up, that's when the doors open up. And then you have to look out for the opportunity and grow into that.
100%.
So I think that whole idea of I need to know my passion and I need to, when I'm 16 years old and I need to know exactly what, at least I didn't know that and I didn't feel that, but I feel that I have reached that point now where I like what I'm doing.
You like what you know. So then can you share with me, so when you went to LSU, right, Baton Rouge, you understand, you're sharing with me a little bit of a culture shock for you.
A little bit.
First time, right, in the U.S.
Yeah.
So is that where you started? That's when you had to commit to the pharmacy stuff to get in there first?
No, I didn't do pharmacy there. So that's where I did MIS. So that's when it was transition into IT stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it was a big transition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So now if you go down that path a little bit, right? So what was your first, I guess, job out of school that walked you into the IT journey a little bit?
So I think it is in LSU when I did my MIS. So, okay, let me tell you a little bit about LSU first. So I was coming from India, landed in Baton Rouge, first time ever in the US. And this was in an era when internet or Google was not as common. So it's not that I knew a whole lot about what to expect, a little bit, but not a whole lot. So it was interesting transition to come here. And then, of course, coming to Baton Rouge and, the accents we were talking about earlier. And then there's a completely different accent there. And then
a little bit.
So first is being in US and then that accent. So it was a little bit of challenge for me. My first job there was in a student health center and I was answering the phone calls. So that was even worse because now it's on the phone that I have to understand that accent. So every time the phone would ring and my heartbeat was, but that's where it started. And then over a summer there, I did my internship at Deloitte.
Awesome.
So that's where the transition into more of IT, and it started with IT risk management, IT consulting, IT controls. And from there, it grew into more of IT field later.
Into IT, okay.
Yeah.
So Deloitte, thanks for sharing that. I mean, what a great organization to be part of from coming out the gate out of school. Mm-hmm. I always try to make that recommendation. I have a sweet soft spot for kids, and it's been a real struggle right now. There's real stats out there where these kids are getting the computer science degrees and can't get in the door about over 73% right now, and I tell them, I'm like, just be present and just whatever opportunity is, just get in the door.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be this perfect dream job yet.
Right.
You have plenty of time for that.
Right.
First of all, you got to earn that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just get in the door, and you'll be surprised what happens when you do good work. You get tapped on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So then, and then Deloitte thing, what I like about it is I always like recommending kids to go to one of them, either PwC, my nephew's at KPMG, because it's like you're going to get exposed everywhere. And I tell them, maintain your Rolodex, like learn a ton. You get different experience, and you can probably ask what area, where do you feel more comfortable in IT? And you can probably get that type of assignment.
Right. Yeah.
Did you know right away where in IT, like where you felt like you lean or you kind of gravitate more to?
No, not really. So like you said, Deloitte experience is a very wide experience, right? It's not, you won't say it goes deep in every area, but it is a breadth of experience. And that's why I think it's like one of the best places to start your career, because what you learn is very fast paced and there's a lot of change, right? Like every client is different, every engagement is different, your team is different, your bosses are different, like it changes a lot. So in that type of environment, you grow fast and you learn very fast. So I like that, and I got an opportunity to try different things initially. So it was not like pigeonholed into one type of work or one type of project or one type of technology. And that's where I feel that, and like you said, that this is what you advise to the kids, is that when you get in, just experience everything, right? Like try different things, do whatever you can. The biggest thing is do your best, give your best in everything. And it's not like, oh, I don't like it and like I'll figure it out types. So, and that's what I did, was that during that time is a lot of learning, lot of experiences there. And from there, slowly started like going into one area. So I did a lot of security related work with Deloitte and a lot of business process related work. So that's where I started like ultimately growing into in there. And that's probably how I got into a pure IT organization later on, right? But the Deloitte experience was really good in terms of learning, in terms of people, right? Like dealing with different type of people. Building the trust with your clients, building the trust with your teams and the partners, and like changing all the time. That was a lot of experience that came in.
What would you summarize, if you had to summarize, like coming out of Deloitte, because you spent some time there, which I thought was impressive, very impressive. What kind of superpowers did you walk out with?
Superpowers. So I think the best one is the people part, building the trust part.
Building trust, I agree.
Because in Deloitte, like you cannot be successful unless your client trusts you and they want you to come back and they want you to do more for them. And similarly, like your teams, because it's changing all the time, you cannot be unless you have that relationship building with that. Right. So I think that's where I feel that I was the strongest. And that's what the skills I could bring here is that how do you bring someone to trust you and that you will be there for them? And then the second thing is like, how do you make sure that you are delivering value? Because again, like your customers or clients will not have you again if they don't think it's all fluff, which happens a lot in consulting.
The big PowerPoint deliverables.
So, big PowerPoint. Yeah. But unless it is truly there's something in there that they can take and they can get value out of that, there's no point of all that.
Yeah.
So those were some of the lessons I learned from there, which I think were like skills that I could build and bring it.
So how did it, if you take you through that journey a little bit, right? So Deloitte, 12 years, you got some really strong superpowers. How did Nabors come in the picture?
So Nabors was a client. And so I knew Nabors at that time. And then there was some transformation going on here at that time. And it was exciting at that time because not just from pure technology side, but it was more of how do we do more business enablement.
Okay. Good.
And the whole mindset change and the shift was happening. So that's where I came in. And initially, and to be honest, like the concern was, and the advice I got also was that moving from a fast-paced consulting organization to an industry is like, you will be bored there, because the impression is that it is like same type of work, same type of people, and 8 to 5, do this, right? So that was the concern that even I had to an extent, like, how will I like it? Because I'm not used to that.
Sure. You used to running 1,000 miles an hour at
Exactly.
Deloitte.
Yeah. But luckily, thankfully, Nabors has like not a single day is same as the other. So it is
So it kind of feels like the same type of pace.
feels like the same type of pace, if not faster. Because sometimes we are like, okay, all the things that need to be done. And I have a great team. So the whole thing I would say is like, because the team is so good and what we are able to deliver. And with that, it seems like there's never a dull moment. And there's never a shortage of problems to solve in terms of business. There is enough change in the company that keeps on happening, enough change in the industry. You know that this industry is like there's an upturn and there's a downturn and there is acquisition and there's divestiture. So there's like always something happening.
No dull moments.
No dull moments.
So there's no like idle time.
No
or like...
idle time. Yeah, sometimes it seems like too much, but that's better than not having enough. So it has been an exciting journey. Like I won't say that there was any dull moment, and I have not regretted moving from that pace to here. So
sounds like it might be a little faster over here. You probably you gravitate towards that.
You can add like changes in technology, right? Like
especially now.
Changing technology is like you have to keep up on that, and especially now in past couple of years, it is just like whole another thing. Is sometimes it feels like okay, and I would say that like it is overwhelming at times, especially when AI became that like such an important thing. And then what do you do? Like, how do you make sure that you are doing enough? You are like managing the cost, managing the ROI, managing the people. And like, there's so many different vectors that are influencing that.
Sure.
So how do you manage all that? So it does become overwhelming. Like, I wouldn't say that it has been just like chill and just like, we know everything. It takes time to figure it out. But like I said, I have a very great team. I have a really good leadership who supports and who believes in that, who has the vision of what or of the importance of technology and what technology can do.
That's good.
So I have that, definitely that support from there. I have really good teams. I'm just lucky.
No, you're very humble. You're very humble. So like, yeah, speaking of that, like I'm just laughing. I smile a lot when a lot of the people that I host are real humble about it, which is cool. So you got to let me brag a little bit. So we're talking about Enterprise ORBIE Award winner.
Yeah.
And I know all about that, right? So I'm an underwriter in several chapters. I'm a big fan of Inspire. I believe in it. And I know the award process, right? And let me tell you, just being a finalist alone, it not to sound corny, but it is a legit win just to win that, just to become named a finalist out of the group. Especially where you're at, which is probably the third or second largest chapter in the United States.
Yes, Tim.
So I don't know if you know that.
I don't know.
You scored a big one. So,
okay.
So you have that, and now you share with me, and I didn't realize that. Forgive me for not knowing that. But you're also a national finalist. So you're going to the Super Bowl all meetings as one of the representatives for Houston to be like the Enterprise finalist. So I'm from New York. This is how we do it.
Hey.
There you go. She's such a natural. Such a natural. I love this part. So I love that you said I have my team and, you got a lot of stuff. Or could you share some playbook ideas on how do you pick that team? Mm-hmm. Because you're right. Having that team is there. A partner can't be in every meeting.
Yeah.
You can't make every single decision, right? So like, how do you recruit and how do you pick that team?
Yeah. So my motto of leadership is, like you said, I cannot be in every team, every meeting or every place. So what I believe in, and this is Simon Sinek, if you're writing. So his quote on the leadership is that a leader is not the person in charge. A leader is someone who is taking care of people in his charge. So I think being a leader is basically taking care of the people in your charge, right? Because I don't think I have the answers. I don't think I'm the smartest person. Like I told you that I have a pharmacy degree. I did information systems. I grew up. I'm not the most technical person in any of these meetings. So I don't think I take myself as that I'm in charge of doing this, but my role is to enable these people to do their best. And that's how I feel that I would recruit, I would build the team, I would keep the team. Sometimes there are hard decisions that need to be made with the team. But all of that is with that motto that is my team able to bring their best to work every day.
So almost your customers in a way.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're making sure that you enable them to be successful.
To be successful. I do believe everyone has something to offer. And if everyone is working towards a cohesive goal, then we can, as a group, we can offer so much more. So what are the barriers for anyone to be their best? And that's what my focus is. And how do I remove that? And that's all my job is, nothing else. Like everything else is done by them. They are doing all of that work, right? I just want to make sure that. So sometimes it is about like what type of fit is in the team. And
yeah, they talk about, I hear that a lot. Like
Right.
you can have credentials, but are you a fit?
Is right. Culture fit or whatever you call. And that's
what you don't see on the resume.
no.
You know what I'm talking about?
And that's why I say that sometimes they are tough decisions because
Yeah.
someone may be like really good and really good on the resume and everything, but maybe they don't fit, right? So those type of things have to be done so that your team is really high functioning team.
What is some best practice there? Do you guys have like a standard interview process or in IT, or do you let it break up into different by subject matter area? Or do you have any like best practice there? Because it's hard to weed that out.
Yeah, it is hard to weed that out. And so we do have a process, like it's, of course, the standard processes on the technical side, on the people side, and meeting with someone. Depending on the role, it may be in a different way, right? Like, and sometimes it's just the credentials that may help. Sometimes it is the actual doing some work and taking a portfolio and figuring out a problem. Those type of things are also
like
done.
an exercise, like a simulation?
Yeah, simulation.
Cool.
Yeah.
If they really want it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's another one.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes I would say, to be honest, it may be hire fast, fire fast type of situation. Like if you really because interviews are interviews and the recruiting process is it is what it is. And sometimes you just know that it is not going to work. And so it may be the best for the other person also to find something that they may like. And it may be something that is right for the team also. So
yeah, you might do them a favor. They're in the wrong role. So that's hiring. Been doing this. We're really good at hiring for our clients. Like we put a lot of pride in that, right? And internally, I feel like I believe everybody. When you tell me an interview, I believe what you're telling me. And what sometimes gets frustrating is like, that in 30 days, we're going to find out if you have that experience or not, right? Like probably in 3 days.
Yeah.
So I get a little frustrated with like, I'd rather somebody tell me they don't know.
Yeah.
Because we could figure that part out.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to train the character piece of it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Especially like these days, if you do a virtual interview, you don't know what they're reading in front of them and how they're doing the ChatGPT on the side and answering the questions. And that's also like, you can figure it out, but people think that that's what will work.
I'm going to give you you ever heard of Cluely?
Mm-mm.
I'll send it to you. It's outside this world. Like it's literally like, it's something that you got to be careful with. I mean, it's super helpful. A lot of great use cases for it. But from an interview perspective, let's say I'm interviewing with you, you can't see my screen, but it's giving me the answers of everything. I'm not looking this way. I'm looking that way. But anything you say is telling me what to answer.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how do we like go into security and stuff like that? Those are some great advances to AI, but now we're looking at AI in bad actors' hands. Does that keep you up at night a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
So that's the thing about like my role, right? Like everyone outside is listening AI and the leadership and board and everyone and like your peers and teams, everyone is looking at AI, right? And AI can do this, AI can do that. And why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? All that AI. What in my role I have to think of is security of AI, cybersecurity. I have to think of the cost containment of AI, right? Because I cannot, if I'm like looking at everything that can be done and just blindly getting all that done, then I'm not doing the risk management or security management for the organization, and which is also my role here.
So you have two jobs.
It's part of like technology risk and technology governance. So that's where I feel that the challenge is that not just mine, right, but any of the IT executives, we have to look at the cybersecurity side also. And so sometimes we may have to slow down things in order to make a proper progress, right?
I love that.
Sometimes access needs to be controlled. Sometimes you cannot have these tools, even though you say that this is the best tool that I need for my job, but maybe that's not the right thing. So we have to put that. So I feel that the balance that we have to manage is like, how do we make sure that we are making progress in AI, but also keeping it secure, also maintaining the cost. So it's like three-pronged
And you know how to read minds, because I was about to ask you that question.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're really good.
Okay.
So that's my next question was like, how do you balance it when, let's say, the business is pro and you have to know the right thing to do for the
Right.
company is from a
Not
security,
too
it might be too vulnerable for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you balance that in an organization that,
No,
let's say, wants to move forward with it?
Yeah, that's the tough part, but that's where I think first you do it technically, right? If you do your evaluations, you make sure you offer some options, all that is technically. But the second, I think, more important thing is your political capital. Like, how do you do it in a relationships and trust perspective? Because someone who's asking us, and if we are saying no, they need to be able to trust that we are doing this for the best interest of the company, and it's not just because I can, right? Like, so sometimes that's the mentality, like, oh, IT is like stopping everything and all that. But like, unless you have those relationships, it's all about negative for IT. But if you have that, and if someone understands that this is the best interest of the company, and if you can talk about that, then it's a little bit easier conversation.
That was well said. Thank you for that. Like, that was really strong. There's at least, I guarantee you, the marketing team has at least 5 nuggets of sayings that you just said there that they're going to use like crazy. Because let me tell you, I think it's so spot on. I think but I like what you said, political acumen. You got to have, like, the judgment part of it, but you have to have the best interest. If you have, or like building trust. If your colleagues know that they trust you, they know that you're pointing out this risk for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's not because you don't want to.
Right.
It's that we're on this mission together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and I won't say that this is easy or this is always that happens like that. And there are, end of the day, people are people. In my team or any other team or wherever, there are people, and there's conflicts, and that's what we have to go through and resolve. But that's the approach, because I can very clearly say with completely clear heart is that my objective is only the best of the company, right? That's all I'm working for.
Sure.
So in that, whatever comes, like, I should be able to justify and talk and resolve that. So I think that happens.
Wow. With AI, like, you've been in the industry a long time as well as I. With the AI in general, right? I have to talk because it wouldn't be an IT podcast without AI mentioned.
I'm surprised it took us like 30 seconds to come to that. But
so this thing moves fast, like faster than I've seen, like, and companies, don't move as fast. But I've seen, because I have access to a lot of different clients. I've seen clients move faster than ever now, which I'm like, it's kind of refreshing. But it's also like, a little scary too.
Yeah.
So how do you, I guess it kind of goes back to that. Like, how are you dealing with that pace of change with AI? Because AI is like putting nitrous in your car. Like, it's going to make it go fast.
It's exciting. It is exciting. It's like addictive for sure. Like I said, that especially initially when this was happening, it felt like, where are we? Or it was like a little bit feeling of losing control in a way, like everything is happening so fast. What are we doing? But overall, I think it is very exciting times that we are living in. And I feel our generation is really lucky in that way, because we learned the basics also. And now we are able to take those basics and accelerate whatever we are doing with AI. I think it is really exciting. Like, some of the things that we are able to do now in like building this new thing in 3 months, which would have taken like 13 months earlier. So that's super exciting. I always wonder, like, they say that, AI will make you more productive. And so technically we can like have more free time, but it doesn't seem like that.
No. I think it just makes you work busier, faster. That's all.
Faster, exactly. And there's more to do. There's so much more to do. So there's no end to that.
Yeah.
So that is exciting. But like I said, that we always have to balance like costing side also, because these vendors are smart.
Super. You need a legal team to negotiate some licenses with some of them.
And they are also, I think a lot of them are also figuring out how they want to make the most money out of us. So then they are changing their licensing model, costing model all the time.
It's like they're experimenting. To see what's going to be the max margin.
Exactly. So then we have to be very cautious on our spend and how we are using tokens and which model are we using for what, and that type of like awareness. And I'm pretty sure we'll make mistakes, right? And I'm pretty sure it will go wrong, and hopefully we'll learn out of that and go out of that and do better.
I love great segue, because I got to talk to you about it, because I always love talking about with our guests, because obviously, you've been very successful in your career. right? You know, you have war, you have everything. You've been here now for 12 years, right? And you've been, at this level for 6. So that's a really strong tenure. Like, that's very successful. What do you think as far as, like, along the way, it's not always wins. There's losses, there's lessons. In your career, is there anything that sticks out, like this one lesson learned that you learned from it that really maybe made you a better leader today?
Yeah. There are a lot of times, a lot of mistakes, right? Not just
in your
few.
role, there's scars everywhere. I have a bunch. I have a bunch
Yeah.
everywhere.
You can't grow without that, right? I would say maybe a couple of those that I can talk publicly, right? Without embarrassing.
Which list you want to look at first, right? There's a bunch. Lessons always being made. Mistakes happen all the time, every day.
Yeah. So a couple of lessons. Yeah, I can talk about those. So first is probably very early in my career in Deloitte. This was in Deloitte. And I had a client and I was pretty junior, I think, like consultant or senior. And I had to send an email out or a report, some type of report or an email to one of the clients.
Okay.
One of my clients. And it was someone like a John Smith. Okay. And they had a John Smith email. Seems like, or apparently there was another client who had the same name person. And when I sent the email with the drop down and not paying the attention, whatever, I picked the wrong John Smith and sent the report to this other person.
To a different company?
To a different company.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. So I'm a very junior person here. I made this huge mistake and so the way I found out was because this other person sent a message back that this is not for me and whatever, right?
Wow.
Okay, so it is embarrassing. Now, what do I do? So initially it was all about, okay, this is the end of my career. Now I've gone and
that's it.
This is
home,
it. And
that's it.
Yeah. And then I was trying to I thought I would talk to this person, ask them to delete it and be done with it and all that, right? And no one needs to find out because no one knows this, right? Okay. But I decided to bring my partner to get their advice, right? Get his advice. Sure. So I decided to talk to him, get his advice on own up to this, that I did this is my mistake. What do you think I need to do now? And knowing that this can easily result in anything. So as soon as I told him, and this is to credit to this partner, Raj, he was very calm. Okay, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And that's immediately soothing me. And then, of course, he figured out what else needs to be done or who do we need to inform about this or what needs to be done? How do we retrieve it? And then things were done and nothing happened after that. So my lesson from that was I made a mistake. If I kept it to me and if I tried to figure out things or hide things, which sometimes later may come out or whatever, that would not have been good. And then I am fully stressed all the time and I would not feel good about that if I'm keeping that. If I make a mistake, I owe up to it. I'm sharing it something bad news that I'm doing that, then it becomes a shared responsibility. Then it's all of the team or whoever is supporting is responsible for clearing it up, whatever it is. And of course, if there's consequence, you have to bear it. But at least that's a easier way to I'm not stressed here. And then this team can figure out what is the right way to handle the situation.
Absolutely.
So that was a lesson learned is if it is a bad news, don't be shy in sharing it. It's better to share that, become a group responsibility rather than you hiding things. So that was...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could have been you're in control of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes a lot because that's early in your career. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And the fact that you didn't want to stay quiet and you took control of it, that says a lot. Thanks for sharing that because I guarantee that's something that happens, even the most innocent thing. It could be something really, nothing material, it's going to be earth shattering, but things happen. And, especially today, that could be, a financial document, right?
Yeah.
That could be a financials. It could be anything. But the fact that you're saying as a leader, you want your organization to be able to say, own it.
Own it.
Well, don't worry, we'll figure it out, but own it.
Yeah.
Right? I like
and making mistakes is that's human. Everyone will make mistakes. But hiding it and not sharing doesn't help anything in the long run, right? So in any projects, anything.
Yeah, let me double click a little bit for that because I want to kind of remind me of something I went through too a little bit. So coming up in your career, what stood out there that that made you better today because of some of the mistakes that you made, let's say along the way? Man, I should have listened to my judgment here on an interview or whatever it may be, or transparency. Because for me, you were probably working, I'm sure, between the 2008, 2009 crisis, right? Mm-hmm. So it was a very difficult time, right? I lost one of my companies, And it was difficult, but like, didn't hide it. And today I tell people, I don't mind telling people, because that happened. It made me open up 5 new companies because I know like the mistakes, what could happen. I'm trained now. I could see the punches coming, right? Before I couldn't. So I encourage, like, the failure thing. It's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Now, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, now that's a different conversation, right?
Right. Like, failure is not a bad thing, and that has to be done. But like, how much do you repeat it? That's what matters.
100%.
And what do you learn out of it? Yeah.
Like, don't keep on coming home too late, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to get burned. But for the most part, if they own it, man, I have a lot of respect for the people that do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think this does, like, you being a leader and managing a lot of people for so long, you're basically saying to your team that it's okay to fail. And you have that safe, like almost a sandbox. It's okay. We're going to keep it. We're going to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could you? That's the kind of culture you want, So what advice, like, also part of this thing, what we try to do is obviously pay it forward, but let's give some advice to a few different camps. Like, you kind of touched on a little bit, but I want to zero in a little bit. So like the community that just, LSU grads, they're pumped up, they're ready, they got the computer science degree. I can't get in the door right now. Now you've been a CIO, you've been through it all. What kind of advice would you give them to get, like, how can they get recognized to get in the door, get hired?
I would say that start someplace, whatever it is, even if it is not ideal, like, this is my dream job, this is my dream company. It is important to start, and it's important to show up. It's important to do your best in what you're doing. And that's the only way to grow out of it. Because if you think that this is like, if it is not enough money, enough career, and if you're working for a title or towards a title, like, this is what I want to do and this is the only path I need to go, or this is the money I want and this is the only path I need, so I cannot do anything else, then it may work out. But that is more challenging.
Sure.
I think it is really important to grab the opportunity you have in front of you, do your best, show up, and learn. That's the second biggest thing, is like, once you are somewhere, like, learn it all, right? I truly believe in that mindset, of the growth mindset of learn it all rather than know it all, because you need to be constantly learning. And that's the only way to, especially in AI generation, right? Like, in AI, unless you are learning, and unless all of us need to reskill now, all of us have to go back to school and learn different things. I'm doing a course now to learn more on this skills, right? So
look at that. That's a good example. You're just doing it.
It's like, that's what is needed. It is like, you need to be able to learn whatever you are doing and staying curious, right? Like,
I love that. I love that you said that.
That's, I think, like, and I'm truly thinking of, like, how do we even interview? You're talking about interviewing, finding people. What are the skills we are looking for in the next generation? And I feel that, like, being curious, being adaptive, being a change person, those are better skills right now than being like a higher skill of developer. Because I don't need that technical skill. I need more of this thinking skills. So
I love that.
For
critical thinking, change management, right?
Staying curious, doing your best in what you are doing. And that's, I feel, the only reason I could have a path from a pharmacy graduate to here is because I was constantly learning and constantly doing my best in whatever situation I am in, and then learning to get to where I need to go.
I like what you said. Y'all just say what you say. Learn it all.
Learn it all.
Learn it all, right? That's huge. So now let's give some advice to that first-time leader. Like, what do you think the biggest difference, or to make that change from going from, let's say, a technical contributor into, let's say, IT management in general? What do you think that type of candidate has to possess, or that type of person?
For sure, there is more mindset about the business value. Because now IT traditionally, especially, right? Like, the technical people doing their own thing, they care about, this is my role, this is what I'm doing, and maybe not able to see the end-to-end picture or the impact that is happening, right? So knowing your domain, knowing your business, understanding how your tools are being used, how does the company make money out of what you are doing, how is the bottom line related to your job, having that understanding, and especially like, okay, individual contributor also, but especially if you're at manager level, when you are motivating the people, when you are growing the people, that is really important.
Big time.
Yeah.
That's huge. I like that you pointed out like that, understand the business value and the outcomes. If they don't have that, it's going to be hard to be successful.
Yeah.
Because the other stuff that they may not understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
IT wise, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one. I'm glad you said
Other thing I say to leaders, and this is for women leaders especially.
Yeah, sure.
And for any leaders, like authenticity is really important. Be authentic. And especially for women, I would say, is because there are not as many women in this workplace as there can be.
That's right.
Right. Like, so I know that I've gone to conferences and rooms, and when I enter a room, it's all gray and black and blue, and there's no color in the room.
No.
So it's like that. That's missing. So for women leaders, as well as any other, like authenticity is very important. I feel that, so like some of the mistakes and lessons and all that, right? There was a situation where I needed help, and I asked for help or mentorship from some people, and then I got coached into how to handle that situation. Now, what I was missing was that I was getting coached by a alpha male, and I'm not alpha male. So the way this person, and in my best interest, in their best interest, the way they are coaching me, I tried to take that and I tried to do whatever was suggested, and it didn't work. It was not working out. Like, because I'm not that, I cannot manage the situation in the way that someone else can do that. So I was in a situation like that, and it was like going downhill because I could not handle, like the advice was really good, really solid, but it's not me. It's not how I handle things. It is not how I express. So I had to stop in middle of that and like just like pause, think of what can I truly handle as me, and whatever that means. Like, I may not get the best result like this person may be able to, but that's how I can be authentic. And if I'm authentic, then I am able to do more. So in this type of situation, I had to stop and pause and like reverse my damages and then do what I could do. And that worked out really well for me. But that's what
you were still able to pivot.
Recover. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what for women, especially, I would say is that like, we don't need to be male. We don't need to be man. We don't need to do exactly what a man can do. As a woman, I can do things that man cannot. And I need to acknowledge that, and I need to be okay with that. And I will do whatever I can do the best. And I'm sure that works out well.
I love it. I love it. I like it. There's so many different things that, like, I feel like even that, women in IT or just women in our industry and male, and with now AI, I think everything is almost like a level playing field today. Like, I think, at least for me, right? I'm not saying everybody, right? But I don't view, like, when I interview a CIO woman or a male, I'm interviewing a CIO. I don't.
Yeah.
There's things I could talk about and stuff like that, but I look at that as like, oh, they're going to be better because of this or that. No, they're just, that's who they are. They're a CIO.
Yeah.
So, but I am happy to see more diversity in our, because it's very different than it was 30 years ago.
Yeah. And it is like, again, like we can say that it is different path for women in some senses, right? And we see that in numbers. It's not like we don't feel that difference. And for me also, like if I'm hiring or if I'm promoting or whatever, it is all the same. It's not because who you are, it's what you can do, right?
Like I'm a big sports, so like what plays are you making?
Right.
Like how many touchdowns and all that, right?
Exactly. That's what it is. However, we can see that their numbers are different, right? Like how many women, how many men and all that. So it's just that like the advice on or mentorship that you can give to different people so that they can grow and they are able to be at that place where you have to promote them is like what I believe that we need to do as leaders, is just like make sure they have the right way of thinking and approaching and mentorship that they can get to that level.
Do you do any mentorship as well?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Formal, informal.
I like the informal ones better because you can be more say anything, right?
Yeah. And that's important.
Absolutely. So also, like something I also find then that could be challenging in your role is because you have to keep up with technology. You got to make sure you're in line with the business, right? But what about yourself? What are you doing for yourself from your personal career perspective? Like it could be something as little as networking. How important is having the right network at your level? How important is having the right network along your career? How important is that to somebody in
I
this
think it's
profession?
absolutely important. I feel that, and I tell that to these kids also, like you can have the best resume, you can have the best credentials, but what end of the day counts is your network a lot more in terms of getting opportunities, getting jobs, and getting answers, right? So for us, like again, in this type of role, it is important to have network, to have like a peer connection and bouncing ideas and see what others are doing. So, for example, this whole cybersecurity issues, like this Mythos model is released, and now it's all of a sudden there's a lot of chaos on what it can do. And for me, like we can think of the best ways to handle it, but unless if I can bounce that against my peers, that gives me the most confidence that
For
I am
sure.
covering it, right? And we are all facing the same problems. We are all dealing with the same issues and all that. So I think network is really important.
Yeah.
And like Inspire says that the answer is in the room.
All the time.
Yeah.
I try to tell them. I try to tell them all the time. I wanted them to. I was encouraging them to do a podcast too, and I told them to even name it "Answers in the Room." But
Yeah.
they were.
I like that.
I think it would have been
punch.
great.
Yeah. It's like, that is so true. Like whatever you need. And a lot of times, like not even just the technology piece, but just handling a situation or dealing with it, creating a strategy, even all those things, it's always good to have some.
It's good to have. Yeah. So let me ask you, as you know, thank you for sharing. You took me to down a lot of different paths, and I appreciate that. You shared a lot of nuggets, which I call, right? What are some, as we wrap up, like, what would you mentoring somebody, and let's say, what would you want them to leave with? Like after you mentored them, what would you want them to, let's say, if they had to reflect back, how would you want them to think of yourself as a mentor?
I would want them to leave with I think the mentor, what is a mentor? Mentor is someone who sees something in you that you may not be able to see, or who can bring out something in you that you may not see it yourself. So I want to make sure that in that type of relationship, whoever is getting mentored is getting something about themselves that they didn't know, and they can take that and grow with that, or bring their best or grow their career with that piece. So how do you make sure that they can get more self-awareness and then use that information to grow in their career? Talking to my daughter this morning, we were driving together, and she is like a very interesting comment she made. So like, I wish I could see myself in the ways that some other people see me. So because there are people around her who see that much potential in her, which sometimes she herself is not able to see. So she's like, I wish I could see that more in myself, what others see. And that would be very good. I was like, yeah, so that's what I think a role of a mentor is, that you can understand your potential or your challenges or whatever it is, right? Like you understand, help you understand yourself better so that you can grow more.
That's really good. Excellent advice. So let's say we had to fast forward, right? Let's say there's a fast forward button. I always ask that for Christmas. I want a fast forward button. It never works. I never get it.
I want a Google map, like something that this is my destination. Tell me exactly how to get to
at least help me a little bit. I can sleep a little bit, right? But, something like that. I've had to look, let's say fast forward 12 months from now. Like, what are some big accomplishments you want to get off your plate that you can maybe, if you could talk about?
12 months is a long time in these days.
I know.
It's like 3 months is...
AI is making us think in like 6 to 12 week increments.
Yeah, exactly. We are talking professionally, personally, or anything.
Both.
So like I said, that I am doing some more, like I want to make sure that my skills are more updated or constantly updated per whatever is happening outside. So I'm trying to keep up with that in different ways. And that's where I want to make sure that skills are constantly updated, right? Sure. So in 12 months also, and whatever is happening. And again, I can't put a goal to that because I don't even know what will be needed in 12 months, but that's like...
Let me know when you do.
Exactly. So, but that's like personally, I want to make sure that is there. And then professionally, of course, I have goals like from my position and all that. And there are some critical things and business value enablement, right? Like, so with AI, for sure, like there are things that we have talked about for several years, that this will be the best way to do it, or this is the best way to solve this problem.
Sure.
But executing that has not been that easy or simple or prioritized. And of course, it is going to take this long or this much money, and then it doesn't get prioritized. But now we are able to do so much more, so much faster. And so I'm very excited about that. So I hope that in 12 months, we are at a place where like, done, this is all solved. Like what else to do, right?
ERP implementation. We could do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's all done,
Send
right?
some agents out there. I love it.
And this is, for me, like especially is all for the people at the rig site for us. Those are the most important people who are doing the actual work, actual business. And if we are able to solve the problems related to that, that would be like a huge accomplishment for us. And that's what I'm focusing on.
That's got to be big, and safety got to be huge for you guys out there, right?
Safety, efficiency, everything is there. Yes, safety is very big too. So that's the whole focus right now, and I hope we are able to solve those problems.
Well, you said something pretty cool that I enjoyed. You said that because even at your level, you mentioned something like continuous learning. Which the narrative is like, I think that never goes away, right?
Yeah.
And no matter in a stage of your career, especially with AI, like you can really learn. There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
Like
exactly, everything is there, whatever you want to, and if you don't know. And that's the thing about AI also, right? Like people say that AI may take jobs and this and that, but it's like people who don't use AI may have to be threatened by that. But if you embrace AI and learn it and do it and whatever needs to be done, then I don't think those jobs will be eliminated. The profile, like your what you do may change.
Yeah.
But it's not elimination of a job. But you just need to make sure that you are on top of it. You are learning it. You are doing the best you can.
100%. I think, AI, I always like to say that level the playing field.
Yeah.
But to me, that's such a great opportunity. And so that's why I'm a little bullish on like, not a big excuse person, because like, hey, it's a level playing field.
Yeah.
It doesn't care how big your company is or how small.
Exactly.
You have the same, go run at it and learn it.
Yeah.
Be that person.
Yeah.
But I definitely, my little bet out there, I think that AI literacy is real. I think it's going to be mandatory, like just as much as like an education like requirement on a resume.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, it takes a long time. To me, it would maybe demonstrate somebody that maybe is not willing to change.
Yeah.
And that's worse, because you can learn stuff, but they're not doing any side hustle type work. It's like, what do you?
Yeah. But my concern is that, that's why I say our generation is really good, that we have done things, learned things, and then now we can enable it. What I get concerned about is the new generation coming in. If they are doing things only with AI, then they don't know how good or bad is AI, right? Like, because AI is good if you can challenge it, if you can do the quality control on that, you can understand the output, you can prompt it. So you need to have knowledge in order to use AI.
For sure.
And I feel uncomfortable sometimes when the developers are coming in and they don't know anything about coding and they can use this, which is all good. But then unless you have some basics, then your product is not going to be as robust, right? So that's where my challenge is. And that's what I feel we still need to keep a balance between knowing the domain or knowing the topic and then using AI to enhance it, not replace.
100%. That's so spot on. Like, it should just be another tool,
exactly,
that you're using, right? Remember, I warn people, I tell them, you may say something to make me think of something to ask. And you just did. So I'm seeing this a lot, and I like to get your perspective, is a lot of people want to throw AI, and there are actually a lot of CIOs that I know are slowing the business down. They're saying, wait a second, it's not AI you need to change your process.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, it's like making a stop.
Yeah.
And they want to move fast, but you got to fix this first.
Yeah.
Or the data. Quality of the data.
If you automate a broken process, then you are not automating anything.
Yeah, you made a bad problem faster.
Exactly. And then data also, like you are multiplying garbage data then. So those are the fundamentals that have to be done right in order to truly utilize that.
That data seems like a big problem though. Like, how do you I'm sure there's solutions. I'm hearing, a ton of different things, advancements, but not having the data governance in place to throw something on top of it it's a little scary.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the money and start wasting time and going and doing all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So how do you, any type of playbook there, any type of advice would you give somebody if they call you up, say, look, I need some advice here. I need, help me. How do I get through some of this?
Yeah. And there is no easy way out. Like, you have to clean it up. You have to do it because there's no easy way. if you don't do that and you keep on going down the path of your automation or AI on top of that and all that, you are just making it worse. So I do feel that even if that means a pause, even if that means like take some extra resources to clean up what you need to, that's very important before you do anything. And again, and we face that problem all the time and in real life, right? Like, because you want a delivery of AI solution and all that really fast. But unless you do the basics, the foundation first and fix it up, then it's creating issues.
So what kind of best practices, like in your role, like going back to like the alignment piece, it's got to be super critical.
Mhm.
Like, because just to be able to explain things that, well, how come we can't just throw AI at it? You know how it is.
All
If
the
you don't
time,
really
this
know,
is what happens.
right?
All the time.
It's a little more than that, right?
Yeah. This is a weekend thing, right? Like
All
it can
day.
be done by Monday, right?
Oh, yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
like, yeah.
A couple execs know
Yeah.
how to vibe call over something. Then it's like you have a project every
you don't
Monday.
think that's happening. No, but again, like this is what our job is, right? Like, and this is where I said political capital or your trust you have built, and people should know that you know what you're talking about and how it is done, and all that foundation work is more important here because that's exactly what is happening. And like I said, that everyone outside just thinks of AI, do it. But then
Sure.
so many other things that we have to think as the technology governance and all that, right? Like, so we have to slow it down. And
Yeah. And I would love to get your perspective because I ask for this a lot. I'm on change management because I know there's no easy answer for that, right? Is there like there's a lot of different best practices, right? But like, that's probably the hardest thing to kind of come over, right?
Yeah.
It's not it's the people, the projects. I mean, the tech stuff, we can do,
Yeah.
right? What are some good change management best practices that helped you along your career?
It is hard, especially with AI and where there is a lot of fear also. And
Yeah.
some is justified, some is not justified, but yeah, there is resistance. So when that happens, then it's all about that people would be constantly finding the fault with the technology because they don't want to adopt the technology, right? And I feel that like in any technology project, change management or people management is much more important than the technology
itself.
For sure.
Do you feel like it's underestimated a lot though? Like change management?
Of course. Who would think of that?
No.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some companies pretty more mature. I have a client that has a whole change management department and they put a lot of resources and they do a lot of stuff. Well, that's why I was like, that was pretty forward commitment to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like even no matter the size of your company, like even in my size of an organization, I could feel it. We're moving to a new ATS system.
Yeah.
They'll find everything wrong with, I'm like, but because the button is different.
Yeah.
So how do you?
I think tone from the top, tone of the top, that matters a lot in this. And that tone and this, like how we are trying to do is like tone from the top is like, yes, technology matters a lot. You have to do it. And then sometimes it's and that message that unless you adopt it, you are at a risk only if you don't adopt it, right? You are, if you adopt it, then you have a path to be that leader in your own group, your own function, your own things. If you don't adopt, then you are at a risk of being left behind. So that's the message. I feel that you can call it a carrot or a stick either way, depending on the groups and all that, how you want to address that. But I feel that's like one of the very powerful ways to do that. And then you can do it from the bottom. It's by just showing a little bit of result that people may like, right? Like some of the repetitive work, if that is taken away, then I think everyone would like it.
Oh, that's a good approach though. Because you're like, well, they can't say they don't like it. They don't have to do that. Like,
so I think it's like from both sides, top and the bottom. But I do think it's something that has to be constant. Like you cannot just like roll it out, do all this, and then forget about it. It has to be constant and it has to be like something that has to be managed. Because a lot of things that even technology products and all that, like we put it in there and it's all good for first 3 months and then it just fizzles out, right? And it's not used anymore. Because for one reason or other.
And that's a lot of money lost.
That is a lot of money lost. So unless adoption becomes one of the key metrics to measure and you have focus on adoption and you constantly keep that focus, unless that is done, then technology would not be successful. So I do feel that change management is a constant thing that we have to work on.
Would you listen? Let's say as a CIO, top 5 skills you have to dominate.
Oh,
Changes.
for sure.
Is it like 1 and 1A, like right there?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the top.
Change management. Okay, I like this. So rapid fire. So let's say the top 5: change management.
Change management.
What would you say number 2?
Collaboration.
I love that.
Business understanding and business value. Your people, like enabling people and team management.
Management. I got one more.
Risk.
I like it. You know what's
I didn't put technology in there.
I was gonna. You keep on being. I like it. So that's one thing. For the audience is I just asked like, what are the top 5 things, and not one of them was related to technology.
Yeah.
And that's what's wild. That's how much this thing has evolved.
Yeah.
And people on the outside that are not in IT think it's all
technology,
and it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm excited about where this business is headed, how far it's come.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even super more excited about where it's going. And it's just going to get better and just more challenging, more reasons to,
more exciting,
more stuff to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Aparna, I can't thank you enough for doing this. You just maybe convinced me to go to Converge because I got to see you win this thing.
That would be exciting.
If you win that thing, I want to put on a show.
Yeah.
I will be public. Remember, I'm from New York, Brooklyn guy.
Oh,
I'm a little loud.
That's exciting.
You'll hear me.
I look forward to that.
So this is stuff that me and my daughter decided to do about a year ago, August. I am like humbled by the generosity from a lot of leaders like yourself that give us time. And then you went to another level and gave us a podcast studio, right? So that I think I'm going to rent.
Yeah.
Next time I'm out here. But no, thank you so much because it means a lot.
And thank you for doing this. And the objective of doing this and putting something like straightforward, right? I really like that. I think that's important for this generation. So
I can't
appreciate that and thanks for the opportunity.